Hey everybody, this is Erica from the Classy Climb vlog, coming to you today with the Slow and Low series with Tim Fowler. He's out of Greenville, South Carolina. He is currently serving in our United States Armed Forces. How are you doing today, Timothy?
I'm doing amazing. How you doing?
Great. You know, I found Timothy. He's a life coach, a motivational speaker, and a soldier. He has great videos on YouTube that will link below. And Timothy, I just have to ask you, like, where did you grow up? You know, you grew up in South Carolina, and how did it kind of affect you?
I grew up in Greenville, South Carolina, born 1977. So I grew up during the age of, we didn't have a lot of technology. So you either excelled academically or you went to the streets. I kind of did both, but my academic side really didn't come into fruition for me and do good for me. So I was doing bad things in the streets. And for the first time in my life, I finally made a smart decision after I graduated high school, finally, to join the United States Army so I can get away from the road that I was going down. I didn't see myself going to jail. I didn't see myself keep going down the same path that I was doing, because I saw my friends going to jail. I saw my friends selling things, that was illegal and stuff like that. So I always saw myself doing something great. I just didn't know what it was. So I needed that push. And finally, my dad came to me and he was like, it's either school or the military, but you got to go. And I was like, wow. And that's when reality hit me in my face. And I was like, I guess I'm going to join the military. And I didn't know which branch. So I joined the Army. And I've been doing this for over 18 years. And I am so happy that I made that decision to join, because there's no telling where I would be right now.
Oh man, that's great. I love that you didn't see yourself going to jail. You didn't see yourself going down that dark road, because sometimes people live up to a mental map, like if you see yourself doing good, you do good.
Yes.
Some people, they saw themselves doing bad and they might end up, going down a dark road.
Exactly.
Well, I love that your parents, you said your dad was like school or military. I think sometimes our parents give us a great push.
Oh yeah, that's all I needed. I knew, like I said, I always know I want to do something great, but like I said, I just needed that push, even though my dad gave me kind of a foot. But I took it in stride, and I didn't understand it back then, being so young. I didn't understand why he was pushing me away. I felt at a loss, like don't y'all love me? But now that I'm older and I reflect back, I am grateful that they gave me that push, just to jump off the cliff and just walk by faith. And that's what I did. So I rose my right hand and joined the military.
Sounds good. I mean, what has been some of the biggest challenges in starting your business while you're in the military?
The biggest thing I'm seeing right now is basically I'm wearing two hats, because of course I'm a soldier, and I'm that non-commissioned officer that everybody wants to talk to because they know I do motivational speaking. So then when I'm not doing that, I'm at home and I'm writing quotes. I'm listening to other motivational speakers videos like Les Brown, Anthony Robbins, Eric Thomas, and I'm listening, I'm writing things. And my wife gets mad at me because I'll wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning with an idea. And she's like, where you going? I'm like, I got to write this down. I have to write this down. Les Brown always says, when you have an idea, no matter where you at or what you're doing, write it down. So I find myself some nights not even sleeping. I'm up writing, or I'm up watching motivational videos from other speakers. I'm reading books from Zig Ziglar and Anthony Robbins. I'm reading all their books, and next thing you know, the sun's coming up. So that's kind of a challenge right now, because my passion is still being a soldier, but I'm on the sliding board down to retirement. And my main passion right now is just giving back. And I'm basically giving back to junior soldiers and youth, mostly in high school and colleges. And I'm teaching them things that I wish somebody would have taught me when I was their age. So I'm just giving them information that, through my mistakes, that I wish I would have gotten when I was their age.
Man, that's great. All that you just said is great, because what people fail to realize is if you're pouring into others, whether it's emotionally, spiritually, you're talking words to these young soldiers, you need energy poured into you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've got your wife who might be encouraging you, like, hey, okay, you might get up at 2 in the morning and it confuses her, but she probably definitely supports the positivity you're pushing into other people's lives.
Definitely. Because I tell my soldiers all the time, even though I do motivational speaking, sometimes I need motivation too. Because I always tell people sometimes I want to quit. Sometimes I really do, because I meet people that really just don't want to hear me speak. So I had to humble myself, and I had to tell myself that not everybody's going to support you, and you must respect that. And sometimes you have to walk alone. So anytime I get a chance to speak to anybody, I don't care if it's at the mall, in the food court, it could be at a red light, it could be at Walmart. Anytime somebody wants to hear me speak, I am there. It doesn't even matter what time of the day it is or night. I have people on Fort Bragg that call me out the blue, and they say, Fowler, I have a soldier I need you to talk to, or a platoon or a company or a battalion, and it's very short notice. Can you come? And I'm like, yes, I can. I will be right there. It doesn't matter. Why? Because this is my passion. This is what I've been called to do when I answered the call, and I love it.
I mean, I think this is great. You're building up this reputation as someone who speaks greatly to young people, and they need that in the Army. They need encouragement. You know, futurely when you retire, they're going to be guys who didn't want to hear you. They're going to be like, yeah, I knew him. And on TV over there, he just wrote that book. I know that guy.
Definitely, definitely.
So, you know, I would love, like, how did you get, you know, started? Like, who let you first start talking to soldiers in big groups?
It started when I was in Virginia. I was an AIT platoon sergeant / drill sergeant in Fort Eustis, Virginia. I had 450 soldiers, and we had a lot of them getting in trouble on a daily basis. And the thing was, they were doing the same things that I was doing, that I was getting in trouble for when I was a junior soldier. So I went one day to my first sergeant. I told him, I said, you know what? I got an idea. And he said, what? I said, I'm going to come up with something called Fowler's Army Talk. He said, what is that? I said, I'm just going to get a group of people together, whoever wants to listen, and I'm going to start telling them all the crazy things I used to do, because I want to start talking to them through my mistakes, to let them know what you're doing is not new. I've done it before and it didn't work, but this is what you can do. And so it went from talking to 5 soldiers to 100 to my entire company of over 450 soldiers. Then I started going to other companies who had 200 soldiers, 300 soldiers. And then I went to a couple of high schools in Newport News, Hampton Roads area. And I took over 2 mentorship programs there at Denby High School and Warwick High School, started working with some of the at-risk teens there, even though I don't like to say at risk. I just like to say they didn't lost focus, because to me, everybody's smart. You just got to focus your attention somewhere else. And back then, my attention was focused down the wrong path. Now I'm on the right path, even though I'm 37 years old now. And I always tell people, don't be me. And they be like, what you mean? I'd be like, don't be my age and say, if I'd known then what I knew now, I would have done it like this. I'm like, I'm telling you, you can start now. Go ahead and start doing it now instead of waiting till you're my age. Because I tell them all the time, the things I've done when I was younger still affect me till today. And that's why, since school just started back, I'm trying to get into the high schools and let them know that these 4 years are going to be the four most important years of your life, because I firmly believe that the 4 years of high school sets you up. It builds your foundation for the rest of your life, because if you play around in high school, you're going to play around in your 20s and possibly on into your 30s. So stop playing, because this life is not a rehearsal. You only get one chance at this. That's it. It's not a basketball game where you can blow the whistle and call the timeout. You can't. You have to get off the bench, get in the game, and shoot that basketball. There's no timeout. So that's what I just started speaking, and people started saying that, hey, you need to start making some videos. And I was like, for what? You know, because I'm humble. And I was like, make videos for what? They was like, because you have to see the faces on the soldiers that you talk to. So somebody secretly recorded one of my speeches, and I watched, and they were all just like, and at the end, they were thanking me and clapping and hugging. And even to this day, I have soldiers from 4 or 5 years ago emailing me and saying, I remember what you said 4 years ago, and I did it and it worked. And then I have some soldiers be like, I didn't do it that way. I messed up, but now I'm doing it the way you said and it works. And that's my fuel. So every time I want to quit, I look at my emails, and people still email me to this day. I've started a Spit and True Knowledge Facebook motivational page, and people are hitting me up on there and like, oh my God, I love this quote, or I love this video you made. You know, where are you getting this from? And I tell everybody, it's all through my mistakes, because I don't want nobody to go through what I went through.
Love it. Good stuff. Good stuff. I mean, whoever recorded you, thank them. Whoever the soldiers are emailing you, keep a list of those names. You're gonna want them in the future. They're gonna want to hear from you in the future. I just think that's so awesome, and I think it's great because what happens is it's a ripple effect. It's like you're going out and you're putting the energy out, and more people are going to go, hey, I know this soldier. Hey, I know this soldier. He should come talk to your school. He should come to talk to this school. And eventually it's going to be a rolling effect. People are going to be requesting you all the time.
Oh, yes. And I can't wait because I'm a country boy from Greenville, South Carolina. And one thing about a country boy, I can talk forever.
That's what they say now. So where do you see yourself in the next 2 years?
In the next 2 years, I see myself retiring out the military. And that's a short-term goal. My long-term goal is to basically travel around the world and share my story. That's my goal. And one day, I'm not a Dallas Cowboy fan, but I love their stadium. But one of my goals is to pack that entire stadium with people that support me and just come to hear me share my funny, crazy, amazing story of how I started from a bad team that was almost going down the wrong road to evolve into a successful United States Army soldier and everything in between. That is one of my long-term goals right there, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I see you speaking all the time. I can see it. You're already building that up. You could do a lot of speeches. I could see it the next 2 years for sure. If a soldier came to you today and they're like, I need to change my life. I need to do a turnaround, or a teenager, that you come speak when you're speaking, and they say, I need to do a turnaround right now. What is something you could give them today that they can work on?
The first thing I would ask them is, what are your goals? Because when I was that young teen, I thought I knew everything. Couldn't nobody tell me nothing, but I had no goal. So the first thing I would ask them, okay, what is your goal? Because let's take my nephew for an example. He wants to be a pharmacist. So I said, okay, cool. So what courses are you taking in college to work towards that? What extra work are you doing to work towards that? Because as you're working towards a goal, I always tell people, you have distractors. And sometimes those distractors are family. Sometimes those distractors are friends. Sometimes you have to know when to cut people off because they will turn you around and keep you away from your goal. So the first thing I would ask them is, what is your goal? So once they tell me what their goal is, I'll be like, okay, what can you do to start right now to start working towards your goal? What homework have you done? Have you researched it? Because one thing that the kids have today that I didn't have, they have the internet. And every job they want to do in the world is on the internet. All you gotta do is type it in and find out all the criteria that you need to, to go towards that job. And then I also would give them my card with all my credentials on it and tell them, call me. If you need to talk, I will push you in the right direction. Anything you need from me, just call me, email me. I will be there for you. My wife will tell you I'm working. Even when I'm not at work working doing my Army job, I'm at home doing something towards helping somebody, either through emails. I have people emailing me from other countries, asking me stuff. So I always tell the people, the train will never stop. If you want to go, you got to pull that engine on that train and make it go. You should never pull the brake on that train. You got to keep it going. So if you want to turn your life around, you have to find out first, what is your goal? Because if you don't have no goal, I have this thing, I say, you drive it down the street like this. You have a goal here and a goal here and a goal there. You got to focus on one goal at one time. Go ahead and drive straight down narrow towards that goal. And even if you don't get the goal, you've already changed. Because like Les Brown says, if you don't get the dream, what you become in pursuit of the dream is way more powerful than what you was before. So I would always, first and foremost, what is your goal? And then let's work from there.
That's great stuff. That's great stuff. I mean, I always ask people who are in the military, because this is what's funny to me. Anytime I'm outside of military town, people think all military people are 18 years old. For whatever reason, they think everybody in the military is 18. What are some of the cities or places you've been moved to or PCS to? And what are some of the things you've been able to see in those positions, in those different cities?
Wow. When I first came into the Army, I had just turned 18, and they sent me to Germany. That was my first duty station. And I got on the plane and I cried. I cried from Atlanta all the way to Germany, and because I was going too far away from my mom. And I was like, I'm an 18-year-old kid from Greenville, South Carolina. Y'all gonna send me to Germany? I don't know nothing about that. So I went to Germany. I was there for 2 years. I went all over Europe. I went to Africa. I went to go see the pyramids. I deployed to Bosnia, Macedonia, and Kosovo. So I went to third world countries and got to see how blessed we are in America. And that's why people ask me why I never complain. And I'm like, I've been to a third world country. I've seen how people live, and I know that there's always somebody doing worse than me. So that's why I never complain. From there, I went to Fort Lewis, Seattle, Washington area, and I stayed there for 2 years, and it rains a lot. But I got to go up and down the West Coast. I got to go to Vancouver, Canada a couple times. From there, I went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, went all through the bluegrass states, all through that area, all through Tennessee, Kentucky, St. Louis. From there, I went to Texas for a little bit, went all over Texas. Love Texas. Love the weather because I'm a motorcycle rider, so I love Texas. From there, I went to Virginia, went all up and down the East Coast. And except I didn't get to go up above Philly because my job was too crazy. I had to work too much. And now I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I've been all over the world. And that kid from Greenville, South Carolina that was going down the wrong path never ever thought that I would see all these countries. Never ever thought I would see that, and now I have, and I'm just like, wow, I've seen the world already.
Man, thank you for that list. Thank you. When I tell people I lived in Alaska, I lived in Texas, I lived in North Carolina. My brother, when he was younger, we're 8 years different, he got to see Germany. My parents got to see a lot of other countries.
Oh, yeah.
People overlook the Army because they think they're going to some small town they're not going to like, and they're missing the opportunity to see the world.
Definitely. Now, and I would never, ever change my past, because I always tell people that my past is what built me to today. And people ask me all the time, like, do you wish you would have, did better in high school, that, you could have went off to college and done this? And I tell them no. And they look at me kind of funny, like, why? I'm like, because I don't believe nothing happens by accident. Everything happens for a reason. I feel it was meant for me to come into the military. It was meant for me to go around the world and see all these places and go through the troubles, the trials and tribulations that I went through, because now I'm helping people, something I thought I would never, ever do. You could never get me to talk in front of a crowd. I would just clam up. But now it's my passion. I have no problem talking in front of people, and I owe all of that to my past. I owe all of that to my dad pushing me out the door, making me join the military. I owe it all to that, and I'm grateful.
I mean, did they love it when you sent them stuff from Germany, or when people take a picture, or they send them a tiny little magnet for the refrigerator?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, back then in Germany, we had the wind-up camera. Back in 1997, so I had to go get the pictures, printed and put in the mail and mail it off like that. If we had the digital age back then, oh yeah, they would have loved all the stuff that I could send them. But like I said, I had to wind up the camera and take the pictures and get it printed and put them in the envelope and send it off and hope it got all the way to South Carolina and everything. But I sent them pictures as much as I could while I was there.
I mean, that's just great. Did you ever get to Alaska?
No, I never got to Alaska.
Put it on your list, man. Put it on your list.
I definitely do that.
So is this going to be your retirement base, or are you going to have one more duty station?
I have one more stop to go, and my plan is to go down to Fort Stewart, Georgia, or to Fort Hood, Texas. One of those two will be my next stop, and that'll be my last stop right there, and I'll retire out.
I would recommend Georgia. I moved when I first left to Texas. I went to Fort Hood because my cousin was over there, and then I moved to Austin immediately.
Okay, because me and my wife have already been talking. We already agreed on Georgia, because that's kind of in the middle of her family and my family, kind of. But yeah, right now we're kind of settling on Georgia too.
Yeah, it's got a lot of growth. It keeps you on the East Coast. You can go up and down to wherever you want to go. Florida vacation. Yeah. Gosh. Well, listen, this is what I think, Tim. I think I'm going to have to do a follow-up on you in a year, because I feel you're going to be doing some great stuff.
I would love that.
So tell the audience where they can find you, where they can reach you. I mean, your Instagram, your Twitter, your website. Go ahead and name it all for us.
Okay, my name is, of course, on first class Timothy Fowler. I am also known as Spitting True Knowledge. That is SPITTINGTRUEKNOWLEDGE, Spitting True Knowledge. And you can find me at Spitting True Knowledge at Instagram. You can find me at Facebook at Spitting True Knowledge. And on YouTube, I have a YouTube channel. You can type in Spitting True Knowledge #1 all the way through Spitting True Knowledge #28, and it's going to keep going and keep going until I'm into the #1000s.
Love it, love it. Hey everybody, this has been a great one. We'll do a follow-up on Tim in a year from now. This is Erica from the Classy Climb blog, closing out with Timothy Fowler in the Slow and Low series. You guys have a great day.
Thank you.